Hi, I'm Mr. New Jersey. This is the 6th installment of a multi-part crash course in New Jersey government and politics. If you haven't already, I would recommend going back to watch the previous videos in this series, because these videos are designed to build on one another, and I will not be repeating information. Today, we'll talk about local government in New Jersey, which exists at several different levels. In American law, local governments are generally considered creatures of the states, which means that the state legislatures can change a local government's borders, change its government structure, change the policy areas it is responsible for, or even flat out abolish it just by passing new legislation or state constitutional amendments. As a result, a lot of the specifics I'll discuss in this video may be altered if the state legislature so wills it. But regardless, there's still a lot to learn about how local governments in New Jersey work for the time being. So let's get to it. I think the best way to talk about this subject might be to trace the history of the different local government levels and to see why each one came into existence. The first level of local government below the state is county government. Counties were first introduced in America in the colonial era, primarily as a way for colonial government officials to organize what was then overwhelmingly rural territory and administer programs within that territory. Even today, one of the most important functions of county governments is to administer programs created by their state governments to local populations. I don't have time to list every program that New Jersey's county governments administer, but some of the notable examples include carrying out elections, operating county jails, maintaining county roads, maintaining bridges, producing birth certificates, giving out food stamps and welfare benefits, and maintaining county court complexes. In addition to administering these state programs, New Jersey law also permits counties to create and administer some projects of their own that they deem necessary to local interests. For example, most of the state's counties have established a county park system and some form of community college. Precisely what services each county offers differs by county. County services are provided through a plethora of boards, departments, and task forces. In New Jersey, there are currently 21 counties. That number used to be smaller, but over the centuries, as the populations within counties grew, and different sections of counties desired more localized power, some of the original counties were split apart. For example, Camden County used to be part of Gloucester County before splitting off. The largest county in New Jersey by population is highly urbanized Bergen County, with more than 900,000 people, while the smallest county by population is the extremely rural Salem County, with fewer than 70,000 people. The largest county by land area is Burlington County, which stretches from the Philadelphia suburbs in the west out to the Pine Barrens, almost all the way to the Jersey Shore. The smallest county by land area is Hudson County, which basically consists of a few cities on a peninsula across from New York City. Each New Jersey county has one city within it that is designated as the county seat, which most of the county's government operations are based out of. The structure of county governments in New Jersey isn't the same in each county. All 21 counties have a small legislative body called the Board of Chosen Freeholders, which makes many of the county's policy decisions and approves a county budget each year. But that's where the similarities stop. For example, the number of freeholders differs by county, ranging from 3 to 9. How the freeholders are elected also differs by county, with most counties electing them all at large, one county electing them from single-member districts, and a few counties electing some at large and others from single-member districts. The frequency of freeholder elections, and whether the freeholder elections are staggered over time or all held at once, also differs by county. Another key factor differentiating county governments is how executive functions are handled. In most counties, the Freeholder Board is also the county's main executive body, with each freeholder assigned to oversee one or more of the county's departments and boards. In a few counties, there is a separately elected county executive who appoints the heads of the county departments and runs the county's executive branch, subject to some oversight from the Freeholder Board. Lastly, Union County stands alone in using its model, where the Board of Chosen Freeholders appoints a county administrator to run the executive branch for them. In addition to the freeholders and county executive, if applicable, the New Jersey State Constitution requires that each county have 3 additional elected positions to fulfill specific administrative functions within the county. One of these is the county clerk, who serves a 5-year term, and is responsible for a variety of tasks, such as filing real estate-related documents, processing applications for people to become a notary public, handling U.S. passport applications, administering elections, and filing business trade names. Another of these county officers is the county surrogate, who serves a 5-year term, and is responsible for matters such as wills, adoptions, and legal guardianship of minors. Lastly, there is the county sheriff, who serves a 3-year term, and is usually responsible for things like security at the county courthouse, overseeing the county prison, managing the sale of real estate that has been foreclosed on, and managing the transfer of prisoners from place to place. Sheriff's offices also have a law enforcement role in carrying out some criminal investigations and making arrests, though these tasks may be carried out at other levels of government depending on which level has jurisdiction over the crime in question. Now, let's talk about the next level of government down: municipal governments. A municipal government is pretty much the term for what people colloquially call the city level of government. Initially, during the colonial era, New Jersey was sparsely populated, with only a few settlements large enough to be considered cities. So, throughout most of the state, counties were the most local level of government. As New Jersey's population grew, and more settlements popped up with high concentrations of people, many of those communities began applying to the colonial, and later the state government, asking for a municipal charter to define the community's borders and grant it a local government with control over some local issues. If the state agreed, usually there would be a referendum of the population of the proposed municipality as the final hurdle a community had to go through before becoming a municipality. If the referendum passed, the community became a municipality. The process by which a community gets a charter and becomes a municipality is called incorporation. In most states, there are still areas that are just part of their county and not part of any municipality. But in New Jersey and a few other northeastern states, every inch of the state has been incorporated into some municipality or another. Nowadays in New Jersey, the only way a new municipality gets incorporated is if part of an existing municipality wants to break away, gets state approval for the proposal, and holds a referendum on it. As of 2019, there are 565 municipalities in New Jersey. The most populated of those is Newark, with more than 250,000 people, while the least populated is Tavistock, with just 5 people and a golf club. In some states, a municipality may stretch across multiple counties, but that is not the case in New Jersey. Every New Jersey municipality exists within just one county, and every New Jersey county has more than one municipality. Municipal governments in New Jersey generally get to handle policy areas such as zoning laws that determine what types of buildings can be built where, trash collection, maintaining municipal parks and municipal roads, possibly setting rent controls to try to create more affordable housing, issuing licenses for pets, and operating a municipal police department. This is definitely not an exhaustive list, but just a few examples. Much like the structure of county governments, the structure of municipal governments varies a lot from municipality to municipality. In state law, there are considered to be 5 types of municipalities, which are cities, boroughs, towns, townships, and villages. Each type has the same powers and authorities, so the type of municipality is mainly just a reference to the name of the place. For instance, there are the city of Newark, the borough of Haddonfield, and the township of Freehold. Where you actually start to see real differences between municipalities is the 12 forms of municipalities. The form is what actually determines the government structure of a municipality in New Jersey. So, the 12 forms of municipal government structure in New Jersey are the city form, the borough form, the town form, the township form, the village form, the commission, aka Walsh Act form, the municipal manager form, the council manager form, the mayor-council form, the mayor-council administrator form, the small municipality form, and finally, the special charter form, where a municipality basically tells the state that it doesn't like any of the options available and wants a unique form for itself. Wow, that was a mouthful. To add even more confusion to that cacophony of words, know that even though some of the forms of municipal government share the same name as the types of municipal government, it doesn't necessarily mean that a municipality of a certain type has the corresponding form of government. For example, you might think that the city of Newark follows the city form of government because it's called, the city of Newark, but you would be mistaken because it actually follows the mayor-council form of government. There are weird historical reasons for this quirk that would take too long to explain, so we'll just move on for now. All of the municipal forms have some kind of municipal council or commission to function as the municipality's legislative body, but beyond that, the 12 forms of government are subject to even more variation than the forms of county government. For example, in some municipalities, there is a mayor who acts as the main executive figure, and in others there isn't. If there is a mayor, sometimes the mayor is chosen by the municipal council, and sometimes they're chosen by a direct election of the municipality's voters. Some municipalities appoint an administrator to be the main executive, while others don't. Some municipal elections happen on a partisan basis, with candidates clearly identified by political parties, while other municipal elections happen on a nonpartisan basis. Some municipal councils elect their members at large, while others elect them from geographically distinct districts called wards. The number of municipal council members may vary by form, etc. You can see my point that there is lots of variation between the forms of government. So far in the video, we've talked about the 2 general-purpose levels of local government, which each handle a wide variety of policy issues and programs. But there is another kind of local government to cover, that political scientists call special districts. A special district is a local government unit created to handle a single policy area, rather than general policies, and the officials in charge of special districts might or might not be elected. By far the best known of these are school districts. In New Jersey, a school district is essentially a set of public schools that is overseen by an elected body called a school board. School board members are usually elected at large in nonpartisan elections. Examples of powers a school board may have are the ability to craft the budget for the school district, to change district policies, such as by choosing to offer new classes, and to pick the school district superintendent, who runs the school's day-to-day operations. A school district's borders may or may not correspond to the borders of a municipality. Sometimes, a single municipality has a school district to itself. Other times, multiple municipalities share a school district, and in still other cases, a municipality will have its own district for lower grade levels, such as an elementary school, but then share a school district with other towns for high grade levels, such as a high school. When you look at the picture as a whole, there are actually more school districts than municipalities in New Jersey. Another example of a special district that some New Jersey municipalities have are elected fire boards, which run the fire department and emergency services within their district. Note that such boards do not exist in all parts of the state, because elsewhere the fire department and emergency services may simply be controlled directly by the municipal government. So, we've talked about the different levels of local government that affect New Jerseyans' lives, but what we haven't yet discussed is how they are funded. Here's a brief overview of their major revenue sources. The primary sources of revenue for local governments are property taxes and aid given by the state and federal governments. When you pay your property tax bill each quarter, the money you give is subsequently divided between each of the local governments that relies on it. School boards typically get the largest chunk, taking more than half of your total property taxes. New Jersey has some of the best public schools in the United States, but also has some of the highest property taxes. The specific portion of your property tax bill that each local government level takes is based on the size of its budget, and in many cases, if a local government tries to increase its budget past a certain percentage in a given year, the new budget will have to be approved by the local population in a referendum. Provisions like this are designed by the state to try to keep property taxes in check, but tax-lowering activists often argue that they aren't enough. Municipal governments often agree to save money by sharing some of their services rather than paying for duplicate services for each municipality. For example, officials in the neighboring municipalities of South Harrison and Woolwich are working to consolidate their police departments into one. Advocates of the shared services approach believe that it saves municipalities money and thus leads to lower property tax bills. For similar reasons, many activists want some of New Jersey's neighboring school districts to consolidate. Whether or not the state government should force municipalities and school districts to share services or consolidate remains a controversial topic in New Jersey politics. Furthermore, when the state and federal governments give money to local governments, it often comes with strings attached. As a hypothetical example, the federal government may decide to only give aid for road projects to cities that recruit a certain number of highway patrol officers. One last concept I want to impress on you is how arbitrarily we determine which level of government handles each policy area, and how there is a wide degree of overlap in different levels. For example, the state, county, and local governments all run their own park systems, all run some of their own roads, and all have some of their own law enforcement operations. Moreover, many policy areas that are exclusively given to one level of government could theoretically be shifted to another. For instance, in some New England states, county governments have been abolished entirely, with their former responsibilities shifted either up to the state level or down to the municipal level. I hope you've learned something about New Jersey's local governments today, whether it be about their responsibilities, government structures, or history. If you want to learn even more, you can go attend the meetings of your local county freeholder board, municipal council, or school district, all of which are typically open to the public. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to find out when I release the next installment of this series. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.